Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11. And we're going to continue this as we continue to push east into the Soviet Union. Okay, good. Do that. Pushing up towards Leningrad. Oh, you should have you got bombs there. Keep that open. Good work. Smash up. Let them regain some strength. But and Spain, yes, you may have the supplies. Oh, whatever. Maybe they could attack 0 hours from now. Well, that. Let's come down just a little bit. North of them. But most of these guys want to head south. Let's have this. Yeah, let's fortify. Okay, go for Leningrad? No. Let's... Oh, these guys are almost there. There. So let's just... right into their overrun to stop their retreat. Whatever it may be. Tank breakout down here. Okay, good. Ah, 1942 Azov's Air Priority. National manpower plus 15%, down 5% on IC's organization regain rate plus 15%. Well, that's very good. Don't like it down on the ICs, but alright. We've won there. Very good. Brandenburger raid on Stalin. Stalin has escaped our glorious Panzers in the east. However, the head of the Abwehr proposed a daring mission. Yes, this is out here. We get these commandos, which I think we're going to try to evacuate. Indisch Legion, the Indisch Fries Legion. Hello, Adshind. One of the viewers almost every Saturday on the Saturday Show. I haven't come up with a better name yet for it than that, but because it happens on Saturday. Variously known as the Tiger Legion, the Free India Legion, the Adshind Legion, and the Indische Freewheeling Legion Regiment 950, or the IR 950, was an Indian armed unit raised in 41 and attached to German army, ostensibly according to the concept of the Indian Liberation Force during World War II by Subhash Chandra Bose. I guess I'm used to Chandra Bose. And Nazi Germany. There was a much bigger, I think about 3 divisions worth of Indian soldiers join this type of unit for Japan. Much bigger. I don't think they were really any good for the war effort, really. You know, I mean, they didn't really fight anywhere particularly. So, not that they're not necessarily good soldiers. I don't know whether it was the Japanese never equipping them well, or never using them well, you know, not trusting them, or just, trust me, people, the Japanese were very much racist back then, and we can sort of kind of think so today too, if you wish, as I sort of do. Not necessarily, and this is also like China and other places, not necessarily a hate racism. And I say not necessarily because I don't think, mostly it's not, to the best of my knowledge. It just sort of latent, you know, hierarchy of race. And so, but it very much so in the ideology of Japan in the 1930s and 40s. So, they might just not have had a high opinion of the Indians. I don't know. But they never used it well. Oh good, they've got that finally captured. They haven't got that, so they've lost. They've had, and they've got that captured finally. See, I put the priorities to hopefully convince them so they get supplies coming in. And then they can do alright once they get supplies. See here, all he has to do is start walking to here. Now maybe he doesn't have any organization, so he can't walk, but if he had started a long time ago, he probably would have been able to. Where was I on this? Oh, yeah. So whether, you know, the Japanese really didn't use them well, or that, you know, it was sort of like being a terrible Japanese prisoner camp, or join this, you know, free Indian movement, yeah, and maybe desert back to the British or something. I don't know. But they were never really much of a, for their large size, to my knowledge, they weren't much used to the Japanese. Okay, Minsk taken. I periodically, sometimes in my life, daily, hunt the web for interesting photos for events. And I came across some that were for some photo albums, personal photo albums for sale. And they had sample photos from them, and so I collected them, and these photos were taken in Minsk during the war. You can sort of see the burnt a bit and knocked out windows, damage. So this is what Minsk looked like, and this is what was written on the back of these photos. House of the Government in Minsk. We'll take the tour. Minsk taken Lenin's house, authority delegation to the civil administration. That's what's going on here. Again, what it says in the back of the photos. Meeting hall in Lenin's house, Minsk. This is the oval hall of the government house, so it's inside that building we just sort of saw. Officer's house in Minsk. That's what the sign says there. Okay, our embassy in Stockholm has information. Our embassy in Stockholm reports that British and US troops, possibly more than 5 full army corps, are concentrated in Scotland for an unknown reason. Okay. 5 army corps, that's a lot. Stockholm isn't neutral, but hey, they still may be getting information. We do still have a fair amount of troops up here. So, Hitler and Mussolini tour Brest Fortress. Defense of Brest Fortress took place between the 22nd through 29th of June 1941. The Brest Fortress held out longer than expected, and after the Second World War had finished, became a symbol of Soviet resistance. Oh, this has got to be Brest-Litovsk. I'm thinking this is Brest, France. Here, and the Soviets did fight it out there, basically to the death for part of it. After the Second World War, it became a symbol of Soviet. Fortress became the site of first major fighting between the Soviet forces and the Wehrmacht. The attack started with 20 minutes. I'm not going to read all of this, but it's good. Okay. They lose, or they gain descent. We lose some, as well as Italy. Good. I didn't know that Mussolini or Hitler toured that. That's interesting. Hitler and Mussolini visit Axis troops. Victorious battle in Uman. Okay, advance, advance, advance. Okay, well this is getting better. Obviously, I was bitching and moaning about a lot of the dissent from the bombing. Not that this is necessarily equals it, because Sealand will get more. And so if we had no dissent, sure, lose run and dissent doesn't negatively, doesn't help us. I mean, it doesn't negatively impact us, but it doesn't help us. Sevastopol port repair, the intense fighting around Sevastopol will most heavy fighting arsenal such as the Schwer Gustav 80 centimeters or 800 millimeter siege mortar. Okay, we can repair the facilities. Again, I think this is revolver held. I would really like to be able to go, no. Now, I probably, I'm really low on supplies. Now I'm choosing to build considerably more than I need, so I don't know exactly why I think it just lost in the system. But so I'm building more than I need. I can handle this. This is just, as we can see here, they're returning 4,000 supplies to the stockpile. 53,000 into the network for some reason. But I just, whether it's metal, the money, I'd like to be able to say no. I don't quite understand why the money on this one. Now, this may be a black ice, but I think this is revolver helds. Pyramid gameplay augmentation. Just like a no, and I'm not sure why the money's there. Okay, here's Group A cross. Okay, good. Here's Group A cross. Reaches land bridge. Smolensk. But okay, don't know exactly where that is. Nice picture though. Here's Army Group Center. Oh, Pro. Yes, we want that. Luftwaffe intelligence on enemy air power in 42. The Luftwaffe Intelligence Department estimates that the enemy air forces have reached significant numbers based on the latest figures, which outnumber both our serviceable number of planes as well as our production capabilities. The Luftwaffe needs to prioritize whether an offensive focus with tactical and close air support capability should be chosen, or whether a more defensive focus with higher number of fighters, interceptors, and the development of more advanced single-engine aircraft should be the priority. Okay. That's Goering. That's Dolfo, Adolf Galland. And I think that is Speer. Looks sort of kind of like him from the back. Don't know, but he's wearing an organization tote. I don't know, because Goering looks like he's talking to whoever is Speer is blocking. Just from the angle of that. I'd sort of like a third option of neither of these, just if I didn't want to spend the money. We're going to go with defensive priority. UK lifts blockade to allow wheat deliveries to Greece. Okay, well, revolt risk. So they are allowing. I don't know where they're coming in from. Maybe let's see Italian German. And they managed to bring 45,000 tons of food into the country during the terrible winter. Very safely, the famine grew terrible proportions. I'm guessing, Canadian government. Okay. Assign security role to the RAD behind the front lines. Yes. We like all this stuff. Deploy the 164th Lish Division to Africa. Was formed from Festoon Division Creta and arrived in Africa, sent to the front. Okay. Yeah. This is good. Again, I like the idea that there's a no need if I don't want it. SS recruitment drive in the Netherlands, 1942. Manpower, convince them money. Okay, yes. We've captured weapons, yes. From the Luftwaffe, formed the Luftwaffe division. Meindl. In the desperate winter of 41, the German army was on the defensive after its failed advance at Moscow. Every single available unit was thrown into battle, including Luftwaffe, Volksarmee Air Force paratroopers. One such unit was the Luftlande Sturm Regiment under General Major Mendel. The regiment's casualties were so severe that it was withdrawn another 42 hours. General Major Mendel and his staff remained behind, informed Division Mendel from spare Luftwaffe ground units under the veteran Volksarmee commander. The division fought well in defense of Chom. But in spring 42, the Army's need for troops to replace its casualties was so acute that they convinced Hitler to transfer surplus troops from Luftwaffe to the Heer instead of Göring. Instead, Göring offered 22 Luftwaffe field divisions that would remain under Air Force control. Although under Army command, the success of Mendel's division swung the balance. Göring got his way. Now, this is, I didn't know about this particular part of it, but reading some of Otto Karas's book. He's the Tiger Commander kind of guy. He relates a period of when these Luftwaffe field division showed up in his sector, was all equipped with new equipment, like brand new MG-42s, and all of his units, and he was in Tiger, one of these. No, not that. We have one coming up here, don't we? Yeah, one of these type of units, which may have not really had that much personnel, motorized support, but all the Army units around in his area all had MG-34s. And they came in, occupied part of the front lines. They had all this snazzy new equipment. The Soviets did a sort of nighttime counterattack, and the Luftwaffe division was just completely shattered, shall we say. I think would be a good term of it. They fled. They were just unprepared. And you had a nighttime attack and didn't know how to handle it. And so they were just, like I say, completely unprepared and fled from the battle, leaving lots and lots of gear and other equipment behind. So for the next while, week or two or whatever, whenever the Germans heard MG-42 fire, because it's really fast compared to the MG-34, they knew it was the Soviets, because they captured so much equipment and supplies and those, so they were running the guns while they had the guessing something may have achieved goal. From here, maybe, I don't know. Well, let's that into We need to push to there. These guys are doing pretty good. Let's get them out of some of these guys down here to keep sending some of these to try to go in here, but they lose supply because Persians aren't supplying them well enough. Don't know whether that's sort of structural or they just don't have the supplies, or now you're down here. Air supply up to there. Yeah, good. Could have taken them from Iraq, but okay, now you're pushing into there. You are crossing over there, so you come. Let's try all open. Okay. Push along that border, keep those guys disrupted while we move up more forces. I think they're going to be okay, because I think they're going to connect up through several of these other paths of advance. You now that you're getting supplies, so okay. So we're winning here. We're about ready to lose there. They're going to be there 2 days. Can they hold out for 2 days? What's their opposition like? Good. Okay, so you're going to fall back to there while these guys are doing okay. Stop this. not a good idea at the time, but so you go that way. You get friendly there, you're attacking cavalry there. Okay, more events. So we won there. Luftwaffe defensive policy, minus 5% on supply, speed, air build speed up 2.5, and air intercept efficiency improved. Okay. Luftwaffe defensive focus. Oh, we've lost the effects. Okay, so they're switching from one to the other. Okay, that's alright. Not stacking, that's good. Structural improvements. Oh, for what are we talking about? Oh, transports. That's right. Okay. And that is a one and done. Okay, so we've got better transports. Well, let's come over here. Airborne unit training, that would be very nice. Home front. Apply throughput, that's sort of the big problem with that one. Okay, the Schwerer Dora. Yeah, that's one of the big ones. We'll take it. Our embassy in Grafhausen information. Embassy. Africa, West African Dakar. So that's interesting. Now that is something that already sort of happened, but I do agree with that. This is one thing I talked with revolverheld when we were early on discussing some of the concepts. What would the Allies have done if, because like I've said here, this is a problem that, you're getting landings in the middle of the Mediterranean. But what would happen if, say, the Mediterranean would fall? Well, one of the options, of course, is a invasion down here, instead of trying to invade into here or whatever, or where would they come in some other parts. The Soviet Union Foreign Ministry Molotov demanded from Washington, London, a second front. Right, good to know. Though I think we had the Molotov died event. Oh yes, we want this. Mentioning that reminded me of this. Okay, let's say these. Oh. They have fuel. Why can't they retreat? Oh no, they don't. The ships do. Okay, well, hate to lose them. Let's fly down to here. See if we can fly over there and fuel them from Japan. You guys go there. that way. There's thugs. You come through friendly territory because you're cut off. Sort of, do I send those guys that way, or do I continue to supply through here? You guys keep moving here. Oh, well, let's do that. That. A lot of these guys in production. Ah, here's Luftdivision Mendel. Okay, well. I'll use by alphabetical. Is he here? Am I just missing him? Yeah, I am just missing him. There he is. Okay. So now we have this unit. Let's send them up here. Might as well get some use out of them. Okay, we have rail network, Baltics, Ukraine, Leningrad, Crimea. Well, let's grab the Crimea one because we control most of the Crimea now. Okay, upgrade the rail network. Yeah. Help out. Break. You can attack still. They're about shot. So you're gonna stop and you're gonna this way. Retreating back in there. They've got some Sturmgeschütz, heavy artillery. Hopefully that'll be able to deal with these tanks on it. Okay, one division shattered. Battalion it looked like. Okay. Oh, the Romanian. Okay. It can reinforce on the trains. Okay, let's give this guy sort of what I made some of these for. There we go. That's a little better. Don't think we're gonna do any of the heavy anti-aircraft for that. Okay, more of this is happening. Okay. Infantry unit combined arms has advanced. Just putting it into 44 is just too far in advance. But we'll come over here and do toughness. Truth. Okay, yeah, well, that's only 3. They're not firing with their thing. Our embassy in Madrid has reports that it is recently most likely the Azores, the Cape Verde Islands. That's interesting. Cap Verden, I guess it's German. Cape Verde. Portugal, Spain, or Spanish Morocco could be the target. Good to know. Harris Group A center across the Densna. Black Division 18, Leipzig. And we had a crash. I'm really pissed about that crash. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Please post questions, comments, suggestions. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.